The views, opinions and information shared during the KC Youth Services podcast series belong solely to the individuals involved. Any recommendations or advice given during the podcast is general in nature and does not replace the need to seek professional advice where necessary. If you are in need of urgent assistance, please call 000 or the Kids Helpline on 1800 55 1800.
The City of Casey proudly acknowledges the traditional owners, Casey's Aboriginal communities and their rich culture, and pays respect to the elders past, present and future. We acknowledge Aboriginal people as Australia's first peoples and as the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which we work and live. I would also like to acknowledge that we are recording this podcast today gratefully on Bunurong country.
Hello everyone and welcome to Season 4, Episode 4 of the KC Youth Services podcast. Once again, I am Natalie and guess who I have here today with me? Say hi.
Hey everyone, it's Taryn. We're your hosts and some of the friendly faces you'll see in the Youth Information Centres here at the City of Casey.
So we have a very special episode for the listeners today as we welcome not one but two guests from the Casey Aboriginal Gathering Place. Regular listeners will recognise one of these voices. Welcome back, Kiah.
Hi, everyone.
And Nathan, welcome to your first and hopefully one of many episodes.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We are very excited to have you here today. Can you believe we're almost halfway through 2023 already?
I know, right? It's crazy.
It's going so quick.
It is.
So we have a bit of an icebreaker. Kiah, you might remember the fun icebreaker question. I don't know if this was sent to you guys, so it's a bit of a surprise. Do you remember what you brought with your very first pay? Bit of a thinking question.
From Casey or my first job?
I reckon your very first job.
That was shoes.
Shoes?
Straight up shoes.
Do you remember what shoes?
It was a jewel pack of Penny Hardaways that Culture King sell. It was nearly my whole paycheck and my parents were not happy.
Ooh. What about yourself, Kiah?
I honestly can't remember. I feel like it probably would have been food. Something food related.
Feels. I was going to say.
Yeah, I'm not into clothes. I'm not into shoes. So, yeah, I honestly can't remember, but 100% I reckon it probably would have been food.
I love that.
What about yourself, Taryn? Can you remember yours?
Yes, I can. So I actually started in the humble pizza shop, and the first thing that I bought, or things should I say, so they had these things called pizza dogs, and they're like hot dogs with pizza fillings put through an oven. They're so bomb. I know that sounds weird, but that was so good. So I bought one of those because I seen like so many people ordering them, and I was like, what is this? This has to be good.
So they didn't even let you have them for free. You had to buy your own.
I got 20% off, so yeah.
So they still made a profit.
They did,
Yeah.
but that's all right. It was worth it, and I made it myself, so I put extra on. And I got a Magnum from the milk bar as well, because got to finish strong with something sweet, you know.
I'm trying to think. I feel like my very first pay was probably like one shift, so it was like $30, if that. But I feel like back then I probably maybe would have got like a CD or probably just food, similar.
Love that.
So Kiah and Nathan, can you please introduce yourself to the listeners and let us know what your role is at the Gathering Place?
Hi everyone, I'm Nathan. I'm a Wemba Wemba Barappa Rappa Bunurong man, boy. I still get confused between those two because I still go back to my elders for a lot of stuff and I still don't think I'm old enough to class myself as a man. But I'm the Aboriginal Youth Case Manager and Mentor at the Casey Aboriginal Gathering Place, which involves sort of mentoring youth, working with them to get them where they want to be and overseeing things as, in my opinion, as an older brother, older cousin, because I'm working within my community, which I'm lucky to do so.
And what about yourself, Kiah?
So I'm Kiah. I'm Yoda Yoda Wemba Wemba woman. So I've grown up in community, always lived in City of Casey. Very happy to be working within this space. And so within my role, I'm the Programs and Partnership Officer, so I facilitate the majority of our programs at the Gathering Place. That involves programs with mums and bubs, our youth and our elders. There's a lot of exciting stuff happening there. Also within my role, I do the partnership side of things, working with other services and communities and just trying to bridge the gaps that we're not able to service.
Perfect.
Love your guys' work. I actually got to see these guys in action when I worked over there briefly on secondment. And they do some really awesome work over at the Gathering Place. I got to see Yarn and Art space as well. That's a great space. And the youth program, Yan Yan Yuruk, and Deadly Futures as well. Love your guys' work. And also the morning program, which keeps young people engaged in school. Such important spaces. And, of course, the Koori Kids play group as well. So there's some great work going on over at the Gathering Place, which I can definitely attest to. So Nathan and Kiah, what has been the highlight of this year so far?
So obviously working in the space with a lot of the boys I mentor and case manage, like there's a few in particular that have just really come on in leaps and bounds in the last 6 or so months. Seeing as we're in May, I'm going to count the last 6 months as this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much so that like they're actually looking at mentoring some of the other kids that I work with, and just unofficially while I sort of supervise them, they're sort of just leading the boys into the right space and doing the right things and making my job a whole lot easier, which is great.
Yeah, wow. It would have like that sort of ripple effect, and it would just be heartening to see as well.
Yeah.
As a mentor. What about you, Kiah?
I feel like just seeing the Gathering Place grow as a whole. We're doing a lot of new things this year that we haven't really done before. So like we run like a girls camp, like we're doing program revamps, and everything's like really changing. And we're seeing a whole lot of like different community coming through the door, just seeing that exciting things are coming and all the changes that are constantly happening, and the positive change that it's having has been kind of my highlight for the year.
Yeah, that's a great highlight. So exciting.
Yeah, it does sound very exciting. And you have touched on a few of your programs that you do. So the question is, what programs do each of you run? But as Kiah, you just said, you've got a lot of them. So what's one that in particular that you would like to talk about and spruik and get out there? One you really, really enjoy?
So I think the most challenging but the most beneficial for community is our Deadly Futures program. So it was formerly called our homework group, but now we've done kind of like a whole revamp of the program. So we now call it Deadly Futures. So instead of it just being like a homework and education space, it's now an education and employment space. So it runs over a 2 to 3 hour period. So the first hour we're looking at doing kind of like engagement pieces. So whether it's doing like an amazing race or doing some baking, some cooking, kind of just
The recreational stuff.
yeah, just like making them feel loose, feel good. And then the second hour we kind of like get into like the homework side of things, or whether they're looking for employment, we can help with like resume writing, cover letter writing, job applications. If they're in university, helping them with like their studies and stuff. We've got tutors on site. And yeah, it's just really amazing program, and I think that's the one that I'm always the most excited for.
Yeah, that sounds incredible. So when does that one run?
So that runs every Wednesday during the school term. So we have recently opened up a new location in Cranbourne West. So we run on a fortnightly schedule. So 1 week we're in Dufton at the Gathering Place, and then the following week we're at the Cranbourne West Community Hub in Cranbourne, and then we just do alternating weeks between Dufton and Cranbourne.
And is that running just during school term, or you do school holidays as well?
So just during the school term. So we have separate programs that run during the school holidays, like our Koori School Holiday program, which is another exciting program. But for our Deadly Futures, it's just within the school term.
So fun.
And what about Nathan? What's your really good program that you're enjoying doing at the moment?
I've only got 2 to cover anyway, so I'll just speak about both of them, unlike Kiah with 100.
Is that you saying you need more work?
No, definitely not.
I got some work I can give you.
No, if Auntie Courtney's listening to this, I'm at capacity, but I'm really enjoying my job. So, obviously, the morning program, like just seeing the kids that get up that early, like pick up start at 6 a.m. and we do different activities Tuesday, Thursday mornings. Just watching them engage with each other and really love life at that early in the morning gets the day going on a good note. But the mentoring and case management side of things, like luckily enough, I grew up in community and I was real connected to my community, and like I had all those connections, and I think that's where me working at the Gathering Place now, that's probably my strength, is my connection with community. And being in this role, I get to link a lot of the kids that are disconnected and sort of don't understand where they come from or where they fit into this puzzle. I'm I love linking them into community and seeing that connection and seeing them become comfortable with the kids and knowing where they stand and realising that they've got cousins that come here. They've got, like, they might be distant cousins, but they're still cousins. And seeing that connection and watching them, probably my favourite part of that whole role.
That sounds really nice and really warming.
Yes, so wholesome. And one thing about the programs I will say is that, like, you do get fed. There's always, like, mean feeds in each of the programs, good snacks, good food, and, yeah, even the morning program, like, brekkie and lunch provided as well. So
I do hear they're still bragging about your shepherd's pie.
The best I've ever had in my life. Taryn, please come back.
I'm so glad it was a hit. It's usually hit and miss, but glad everybody enjoyed it. So just on the programs, what is the referral process of the programs?
So I'll just speak to my programs. I feel like we don't necessarily have a referral process for my programs because it's more like kind of like recreational based. So it's kind of just like through like word of mouth promotion through our social media and stuff like that. We do a lot of promotion through our career education support officers in the school space. So we'll send the flyers to our career education support officers, and then they'll send it out to all the career kids within the school.
Thanks, Kiah. Nathan?
So the morning program's the same sort of thing as Kiah. Like, it's just a registration and then we figure stuff out from there, pickups, drop-offs, all that. Obviously the case management, mentoring side of things is a bit more in-depth. For the case management, there is a referral that comes through whoever wants to do it, and it sort of comes to me, and me and the other case managers sort of assess and see if case management or mentoring would suit better. Mentoring's the same sort of thing, just a bit more, I don't know how to explain it.
Well, is there any criteria that people need to meet to actually come to any of these groups?
So for all of our programs, you need to be either Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander. It depends on which kind of like program it is. So we do kind of have like an age criteria on some of our programs. Just as some is for like our mums and bubs, some are for the youth, some are for the elders. So we find that there's not really any like strict criteria. It's just kind of based on, kind of the nationality and the age.
So May is always a special time of the year. It means Reconciliation Week is coming up. Could you tell our listeners a little bit about what Reconciliation Week is, just for those who don't know?
I think Reconciliation Week is just a week of reflection in terms of how our people were treated and what's currently still going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people talk about, so the best example is Stolen Generation.
Yeah.
Like, people talk about it as if it was happening hundreds of years ago. Like, it was my nan's generation. Like, there's still people alive that were affected by it.
Yes.
And like, it's just looking at that and reflecting and realising that there is things that still need to change and working towards goals together, not separately.
Yeah.
Like, you look at a lot of the stuff at the moment, is real divisive and it tends to split people. But I think the sooner we realise that we're better off working together and coming together and acknowledging the past and acknowledging it did happen and it's still going on to this day and it still has an effect. Yeah, I think the better off we'll be. Like, people want to say a lot of stuff and, oh, we get this, we get that, but we did start behind the 8 ball. We still start behind the 8 ball. Like, my nan was made to leave school when she was 12. So obviously that had a flow-on effect. Like, my dad, and then my dad stuck through school, but there was still a lot of stuff going on in his generation. And then, like, we're only 2 generations away from that sort of white Australia policy. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that was really eloquently put.
Yes.
Thank you.
Don't just give me a thumbs up, Kiah. You could say good job, Nathan.
Good job, Nathan.
Yes, well done. Well, on that, how can non-Indigenous listeners do their part in reconciliation? So as it's coming up, what's something that we can do to help?
I feel like just not being afraid to ask questions. We're all very scared of the unknown, but it's not that scary if you're just willing to kind of like open your mind up and ask those questions. It's okay to not know. There's heaps of people out there that you can go to speak to. If you're a bit ashamed, you can jump online, even just a quick Google, what is reconciliation? How can I help? They've got a reconciliation website as well, which you can kind of go on to and find out more information. So I guess it's just about being really open-minded and kind of taking that leap forward to work towards the goal rather than work against it.
That's beautifully put.
Nailed that. You nailed that, Kiah.
Love it.
I think we save a lot of our celebration and everything for NAIDOC week, which is first week of July. We sort of aim for that as more of a celebration of our culture and a celebration of we're still here, we're still thriving, we're still surviving. Like, we sort of aim at that rather. We still acknowledge Reconciliation Week and all that, but I think that's more of a we're working towards something, whereas NAIDOC week is a celebration of us.
On that, is there anything exciting coming up at the gathering place?
I feel like it's always exciting.
Yeah, it really is.
There's always stuff going on. I'm not so, like, I don't know so much in terms of like events, but I do know that we do have a lot of exciting stuff that we've got planned for the year. Like I was saying a bit earlier, there's a lot of changes coming, so can't say anything, but there is a lot of exciting stuff coming.
You can't even give us a little sneak peek?
Sorry, no.
I think the sneak peek is it's going to be a lot more of engagement. Like, it's going to be a lot more hands-on, short turnaround, quick stuff where community can come in, get involved, get some skills, and then move on to the next thing instead of,
That sounds really interesting.
I know, building the suspense. Well, that brings us to the end of another awesome episode. Thank you, Kiah and Nathan, for coming in and sharing with our listeners today. It's been awesome having you both in this space.
Thank you for having us.
anytime.
And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. We hope that you've enjoyed listening and learnt something you didn't know about some of our team.
So before we finish today's episode, we spoke about a Reconciliation Week event that we will be putting on here at our Narre Youth Centre. I have Rory here to give us some information. Rory, can you let listeners know what the event is going to be about and how they can get involved?
Thanks, Nat. Hi, everyone. Yes, we are holding a Reconciliation Week event on Wednesday, May 31st, starting at 4 p.m. and running till 6:30. It is going to be at our Narre Youth Information Centre. All young people are welcome. It's a free event for young people 10 to 25. There is going to be performances by young people. There's going to be an art showcase. Young people have created artwork around the theme of reconciliation. There is going to be conversations, connection, food, activities, and other fun stuff.
And how can people get involved if they want to come?
So for our event, we don't require booking. Can simply come to the event and expect to be fed and be involved in what we are running on the night.
Sounds awesome. And if they miss this year?
We are going to be recognising Reconciliation Week every year within youth services. So if you miss this year, we are making it annual and we'll be running something next year.
Awesome. So there you go, everyone. If you are aged between 10 to 25 and would like to come down and be involved in Reconciliation Week event, we will be holding one here at the Narre Youth Centre on the 31st of May. Come down. We'd really like to see you.
Thank you to our listeners for tuning in. We hope you have enjoyed listening and learnt something new about the services relevant to you. To stay up to date with all things KC Youth, like and follow us on our social media accounts at KC Youth Services on Facebook and Instagram. We'll be sure to include the KC Aboriginal Gathering Place socials in the show notes below. Until next time, take care and stay safe.